Before you give up, listen closely. If you are hearing this, it is not by accident. I am speaking to the quiet place inside you where fear breathes and hope hides. I know that place. I sat with it in long nights when the wind had no mercy. I learned its language. I learned its silence. So stay with me, breathe with me. Let us walk together through this dark corridor until we find the door. There was a season when the sun rose, and I did not feel it. Stones were broken at the quarry, and I was one of them. The dust entered my lungs like uninvited history. Men spoke in low voices. Some carried a storm in their eyes. Some had no weather at all. In that harsh light, time became a heavy coat. I wore it every day. My hands knew hunger, my ribs learned patience. I felt my name become a whisper the world could forget. I tell you this not to make you sad, but to show you the map of a narrow path. Pain shows us the edges of our life. When I touched those edges, I found a question that would not leave me. Who am I when the door is locked? When the crowd is gone, when the bed is cold and the future is a rumor? I did not answer quickly. I let the question sit with me like an old friend who will not be dismissed. At night I wrote letters. The paper was thin, the ink was stubborn. Words were small boats crossing a rough sea to reach the faces I loved. Sometimes the boats sank. Sometimes they arrived damp and shaking, but alive. In those letters I planted seeds, apologies, promises, prayers. A letter is a fragile bridge, yet it holds. It taught me that the heart travels even when the body cannot. There were mornings when the drum in my memory began to speak. I heard the rhythm of a village long before my birth became a story. The drum said, "Rise," not because it is easy, not because it is fair. Rise because your breath is still yours. Rise because dawn is a covenant between the earth and the ones who refuse to vanish. So I rose, I washed my face, I practiced language, one word folded carefully over another, the way a mother folds a blanket. I learned the tongue of the guard. I learned the tune of the wind through the bars. I learned that respect is a key that opens more than one door. I kept a small garden. The soil was stubborn like me. I turned it with patient hands. I asked it for mercy. It gave me spinach and lessons. A garden teaches you to wait for what you cannot command. It teaches you the art of gentle persistence. You water, you watch, you whisper, "Grow if you can." And often, it grows. Even in a narrow yard, life finds a way to stretch its fingers toward the sun. There was also the boxing ring of youth, where my body learned the truth of rhythm and restraint. A fist that lands with anger is heavy and blind. A fist that lands with purpose is light and accurate. In that ring, I learned that power is not noise. It is timing. It is breath. It is knowing when to step forward and when to step aside. Later, when the debates grew hot and the streets were loud, I remembered the ring. I remembered to keep my guard, to look into the eyes, to hear the feet on the floor. You cannot lead a people if you cannot hear their footsteps. Pain came like a storm that forgot how to end. Reflection came like a candle that refused to die. Between the two, I waited. In the waiting, I learned a lesson I offer you now. The mind is a home you must sweep each morning. Clear the dust of yesterday's defeat. Move the furniture of your fears. Open a window for grace. It will not shout. It will enter like a shy guest and sit in a corner until you invite it to speak. Listen, my friend, you think you are broken because you bend. But reeds bend and live. Trees that refuse to bend are the first to fall in the wind. Do not confuse hardness with strength. The hardest stones crack in the river. The strongest waters learn to curve. One day a guard spoke to me in a language I had been practicing. His eyes softened, not because I had conquered him, but because I had chosen to meet him where he lived. In that small exchange, the air shifted. I saw it then. The shortest road between enemies is dignity. You can pick it up like a walking stick when the path is steep. It will not make the hill disappear, but it will make your steps honest. Hope is not a trumpet, it is a flute. It does not break the sky. It finds the small openings in your ribs and plays there, a thin music that grows. I heard it at dawn when the sea breathed in and out like a tired giant. I heard it when a letter came back to me with a single sentence saved from the storm. We are waiting. I heard it when a seed became a leaf. You do not need a choir to believe. One note, held long enough, will teach your bones the song. But hope alone is a kind promise. It needs action to become a truth. Action is the quiet work no one posts on their walls. It is the sunrise routine that keeps its word. It is saying, "I will try again," when your hands are trembling. It is leaving your anger on the floor like a coat that no longer fits. It is speaking to the person you fear and calling them by their name, not by your wound. I walked the yard in circles until the circles made a road. That is another lesson. A small practice, repeated without drama, becomes a path out of the maze. Put one stone of faith next to one stone of effort. Do it again tomorrow. The wall that blocks you is made of small stones too. What was built can be unbuilt. I remember the silence after the drum stops. Your ears ring with echoes. Your body wants to move, but the song is gone. This is where many surrender. They think the music has abandoned them. It has not. It has moved inside. When the world grows quiet and you feel alone, put your hand on your chest. There is a drummer there. Let him lead you. People ask me about courage. They picture a lion. I picture a man walking back to the table where he lost and sitting down again. Courage is returning. Courage is returning with your heart still open. If you cannot open it fully, open it a finger's width. Light will find the space. On certain nights I wrote words I could not send. I folded them and kept them near. They were a conversation with tomorrow. If you have no one to hear you tonight, speak to tomorrow. It is listening. It has a long memory and a gentle hand. Tomorrow is a farmer. It reads the soil of your choices and decides where to rain. I give you another small thing. When bitterness comes, offer it tea. Let it speak until it understands that you are not a house it can own. Then walk it to the door. Thank it for the lesson. Close the door. Sweep the floor again. Go to the garden. Water the ground. The harvest is not yours to command, but the watering is. You may believe your life is behind you. You may believe your chances were used up by youthful errors or by the careless hands of others. I understand that ache. I have watched years fall like leaves, yet even a tree with old bark gives shade. Even a river that has traveled far can still reflect the moon. Age is not an ending, it is a deeper beginning. When I stepped out into the crowd after long absence, I did not meet a nation of angels or devils. I met human beings who bleed and hope and argue and sing. If you want to move a people, do not speak only to their anger. Speak to their longing. Speak to the child who still believes in the fairness of the sky. If you are tired, rest. Rest is not surrender. Rest is sharpening the blade. Rest is washing the dust from your eyes so you can read the map correctly. Rest is the kindness that keeps you from breaking the thing you are trying to build. Now hear me. You do not need permission to begin again. You do not need a perfect plan. You need a clean breath and a single step. Let that step be small and real. Speak one truth today. Fix one broken thing. Offer one apology. Learn one word in the language of the person you fear. Plant one seed in useless ground. Light grows by habit. I stand here as a witness that the human spirit is not a candle to be blown out by any passing storm. It is a coal. Shield it with your hands. Breathe on it. Carry it through the night. When you reach a place where others are cold, share the heat. Fire is a secret that multiplies by giving. Before we part, place your ear close to this voice. I am not here to be admired. I am here to remind you. Your life is heavier than despair and softer than victory. It can hold both. Do not be frightened by the weight. Learn its balance. Walk with it. If this reached your heart, do not save it only for yourself. Go to someone who thinks they are finished and tell them they are not. Go to someone who hides and sit with them in the doorway until they see the light. Go to someone who speaks only in anger and ask them what they have lost. Then listen. Listening is a medicine as old as rain. This is the hour. This is the breath that is yours. Hold it. Use it. Return it to the world as something healed. If you stumble, I will not be ashamed of you. I will walk beside you. We will gather the pieces and build again. We have done harder things. Before you go, look at your hands. They are not empty. They carry stories, scars, promises, tools. They are ready, so are you. Step forward with the calm of a mountain and the humility of a stream. You are not late. The path has been waiting for your feet. If this message spoke to your heart, please like this video and subscribe. Your support helps this message reach more people.